What if I told you that before counting a single calorie, I just want you to focus on these 3 habits? As a dietitian, a registered dietitian for the past 18 years, if you were sitting across from me today as a client, I would tell you we're not going to count calories. We're going to focus on these 3 habits because these 3 habits alone will increase energy, help with blood sugar control, reduce cravings, and make things just overall more simple and easier, which is what we need for nutrition, right? My name is Danielle Carr. I'm a registered and licensed dietitian for the past 18 years. I'm also a certified personal trainer. And my goal is to help make nutrition much more simple than so confusing as it is. If you are new here, welcome. Every week, I share practical, evidence-based nutrition tips, nutrition talk to make healthy eating feel more simple, something that you can actually do and leave with to start. So if that's what you're looking for, would love for you to like, subscribe, follow, whatever it is. But we're going to get into the first habit. So first habit is going to be hydrate. I know you hear this all the time. Hydrate, 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 hydrate. But I want you to really listen to this because this is the thing that I think we all hear all the time, but we may not actually do. I will, to be honest, for the last, so out of almost 20 years, first half of my career in helping people, I will always encourage people to drink water. I will tell you the first half, I barely did it. I tried, but now I still struggle. Every day I struggle, but I get it in now. And there's 2 things that changed that. One is I started to specialize in gut hormone balance. And when I started to learn what that does with the hormones and what it doesn't do for our body and how it can actually wreak havoc or hurt, not really hurt, but like help make things a lot harder, which I'll go into in a little bit, I started to realize how important it is. But the other thing is when I actually did it, intentionally got the amount of water that I needed every single day. I mean, my brain fog was gone. I had energy. I didn't feel like I was craving at certain times when I was like, I don't understand. Like I felt like I was kind of doing all the right things. So just know that most people only get in 44 ounces of water a day. I'm not sure if you know, you need a minimum of 64 ounces of water a day. So one of the things that's kind of crazy is even a mild dehydration, 1 to 2% of body weight, mild dehydration affects your energy, brain fog, weight loss, feeling good, like that fatigue or that crash in the day. So it's kind of crazy. Hydration influences so much. We've got energy levels, brain function, digestion, regular bowel movements, who actually wants to be constipated, skin health. So I guarantee if you really start focusing on water and getting what you need in daily, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about how much you really need, not just the 64 ounces, you're going to see a change in your skin, blood volume and circulation, temperature regulation. The other part of that is when we're just a little bit dehydrated, our body sees that as a stressor. So what happens when our body sees stress? Well, it's going to release and increase the cortisol hormone. Cortisol is a great hormone. We need it. Thank you, Jesus, for this cortisol hormone. However, it is our stress hormone. We do not want it increasing. It needs to be going down throughout the day. So when it's released and you've got higher cortisol levels, a glass of water is not going to fix that, okay? You need to actually be drinking throughout the day and consistently drinking water. That's what's going to help you, and that's what's going to reduce the physiological stress. And it's going to help with, like, if you have a lot of headaches or you just kind of crash in the day, constipation, feeling sluggish, I'm telling you, get your water in. So sometimes it's not just that you need another cup of coffee, it's your water. So let's go into how much you should drink. All right, I said a minimum of 64 ounces. But what I really want you to get in is half of your body weight in ounces. So if you are 160 pounds, I want you to get in 80 ounces of water. Okay? Again, if you're like me, that is kind of hard. I still struggle with it, but now I can get it in. And so I've got some tips for that. All right? 1, this is the thing that changed like the trajectory of me getting in water every day. Every night, I will not want to wake up every night before I go to bed. I fill up my water bottle and I set that on my nightstand. I just dropped my water. It didn't spill. I'll put that on my nightstand. And when I wake up in the morning, this is a rule, okay? I think it's very important to have rules for yourself because who makes them when you're older, right? So I will drink 20 ounces of water, but I tell myself like at least half of this, and then I will allow myself a cup of coffee. I do not let myself drink coffee until I drink that water. That is 90% true. You're right. There have been times that I will drink my coffee before that, but I mean, almost 10 times out of 10, right? 9 times out of 10, I'm always going to do that because it changes so much. If I do that, I'm drinking water with my coffee, I'm drinking water after my coffee. Now, that is something that works for me. Yours might be different. For some people, it's going to be drinking every 90 minutes, drinking a glass of water. Or it might be getting the water bottles that have the markers and the goals on them. It might be setting an alarm on your phone. I did that all the time. If that is you, I will give you a recommendation or a tip. Don't turn that alarm off. Even though it's really annoying and you might not be listening to that alarm and it's been 8 weeks and you're still not doing that alarm and you keep snoozing it, keep setting it off because eventually that habit will take place, okay? Get a new water bottle if you need to. You know how many water bottles I have been through to find them one that works for me? For a while, it was the Yeti, and I had to have this bubble straw and the handle on it. That's what worked for me. Now I have changed to a different water bottle, but that is what I had for years. And if I didn't have it, I was not going to drink it. All right, habit number 2 is to anchor every meal with a protein. Now, last week I posted an episode on protein and how much matters and why it matters. If you have not listened to that, please go back and listen to that. I'll link it down below because that's the reason why it's on this list again. Even though I just talked about it last week, it's so important and it will help you so much. It deserves to stay on this list because it changes everything. So like before deciding what vegetables, what starch, what fat you're going to have, I always say, even the sauces, what protein, like where is my protein? Every meal, where is my protein? And for most women, I'm going to recommend a minimum of 25 to 30 grams of protein. Men, same, but we might have some increased needs there. And you might have increased needs as well as women. Go back and listen to that YouTube video. You'll be able to kind of see that. Here's the things that protein helps with. Increased fullness, preserves muscle, supports metabolism. It stabilizes your blood sugar, support hormone production, and maintain that healthy aging. Again, on that video, I talked a lot about how protein in the morning, how much that helps and what it does for us, and giving ideas. All right, here's another thing I love about protein. This is what like lured me in on protein when I was in college over 20 years ago for being a dietitian. And that is that it takes more energy for your body to actually digest protein. So protein has a very high thermic effect on food. So the food that you eat, the protein that you eat, about 20 to 30% of its calories are used during digestion. That's pretty cool, right? Carbohydrates are like 5 to 10%, and fats are 0 to 3%. So protein's working for you. Like, yay protein. It is working for you as you're eating. The other thing that's great about protein is higher protein meals will stimulate those satiety hormones, the natural hormones that we have of GLP-1 or the double Y peptides. And so it's actually going to suppress ghrelin, the hormone that makes you, want to eat. So eat your protein. Where's protein? That's what I'm saying. Where's your protein? 25, 30 grams day tips. Tips for that is. So how can you get in protein? Let's think. Breakfast can be eggs and cottage cheese. I put cottage cheese in my eggs. Love it. Protein smoothie. Easy, easy, easy. If you don't like one, send me a comment. Send me a message. I can send you a good recipe because they're out there. You just gotta find the right ones. You could have Greek yogurt and berries. Lunch could be a chicken salad. It could be, I do a lot of taco bowls, protein bowls, like a taco beef bowl. I do that for dinner also. It could be leftovers from the night before. That's a big thing for me, like leftover steak and vegetables. Dinner could be salmon. It could be those beef taco bowls. It could be chicken thighs and roasted vegetables. Okay? Where is my protein? Everything else can be built around that. All right? Again, check out the video if you want a deeper dive on that because it's that important. That's why I'm saying it again. Sorry, excuse me. I don't know if I can cut that out. All right, habit number 3 is to stop grazing and start eating intentionally. Isn't this just so easy, isn't it? I know that is tough, but this one's huge. Most people don't know how much they're actually eating throughout the day, right? They don't realize like a handful of crackers here and there, or eating the last bites of grilled cheese off their kid's plate, or the last chicken nuggets, or grabbing a cookie at work, or having a few bites of the chocolate chips. A bite here, a bite there. By the end of the day, you've eaten several hundred calories, but you've never sat down to actually have a meal and feel this satisfaction and this hunger. There's actually a hormone response to that. And so when we're constantly grazing and we're repeatedly stimulating that insulin release, especially when we're having carbohydrate-rich snacks like Doritos and veggie straws and even lots of fruit, our blood sugar rises, our insulin responds, and maybe your body can get away with that for a little bit, but this mindless snacking, it makes it harder for you to recognize your true hunger or your true fullness, and it keeps this ongoing cycle of cravings. So instead, I want you to eat meals that are satisfying, like have a protein, a fat, and fiber, healthy fat. And again, I know that sounds like a little bit harder than what it is because we're always go, right? Whether you're always on the road, you're at work all the time, where you don't sit down, you're a mom and just biting, which is, I really struggle with, just eat. Like if I ate off the kid's plate, I'm like, nope, got to sit down and eat this meal, right? Because sometimes I'm like, oh, that cured the craving for a minute and I'm gone. And then I forget to actually like eat my meal or I didn't make my meal. So, that goes into planning ahead. Again, it takes some work. There's so many simple ways I could make that happen for you. But for time purposes, that's another time, another episode. But the biggest thing is give your body time before eating again. And so I want you to notice whether you're really hungry. Are you just stressed? Are you bored? Are you just eating food because it's there? Like telling yourself, would an apple and a grilled chicken sound good? That's a big question I ask. Myself, my kids, clients, would a grilled chicken and an apple sound good? If it's no, but a cookie would, well then it's just a craving, right? It's not really you're not really hungry. So nothing wrong with enjoying treats, but I want you to really recognize that. Our goal is you want to be intentional, not just automatic. Okay? So if I had to simplify nutrition into 3 starting points, that's it, just 3. It would be hydrate intentionally, anchor every meal with protein, and stop grazing and eating satisfying meals. Don't worry about being perfect. Even if you're just 1% better, I want you, even if you just need to take one thing, just getting a little better each week and then stacking on that. And you started this one habit of hydrating, and then next week you're going to keep on that hydration train, and the next week and it gets better, and you actually make this work. That's it, because we want to consistently build on these habits where, again, everything else, your energy, your hunger, your hormones, your workouts, the stability, everything just becomes easier to manage. So take that one thing, and I'd love to know what it is. If you will, comment on the bottom, what's that one thing that you're going to practice this week? I would love to know. And sorry, I had an itch and I still got it. Yes, comment on that. Would love for you to subscribe. I will keep doing these weekly, and I thank you so much for being here. I hope that helped, and I really appreciate the support and letting me know if this helped you. Thanks.